Hello! In the first class, we learned the uses of each software. In this lesson, we will talk about how to configure diagnostic software after getting a brand new computer. Through the diagnosis, the correct connection of VCI and the computer for the next extension. A blank computer cannot be directly connected to the vehicle. We need to do some basic configuration, including VCI associations. The activation of the start key can only be carried out. Connect with vehicles using diagnostic software. The first step is to open the configuration tool. Select Diagnostic Connection VCI. If using VCI, choose the first one. If you don't have a vehicle, but want to learn the diagnostic steps, diagnostic software and some fault code simulations, you can choose the second one. The second one can be used without a connected vehicle. Use Xentry's simulation capabilities to understand the use of diagnostic software. Do practical exercises. But now the main thing to teach you is diagnosis, so I used normal VCI for the presentation. After we select VCI, you can see that this interface is divided into import configurations, configuration and export configuration. It's easy to understand from the literal meaning. If you already have a configuration file, can be imported directly. Save the trouble of configuration. But if we get a brand new computer, there is no configuration file, then we can only click the configuration in the middle. This interface is, after getting a brand new diagnostic machine, what can be obtained? The first Xentry diagnosis VCI. The second one is the Wi-Fi receiver. It is a tool for Wi-Fi connection with the diagnostic VCI. Third, the OBD cable. It's the connection between VCI and vehicle OBD. The fourth one is a USB to VCI cable. This is the USB port of the diagnostic computer, and USB port with VCI tail connected line. The fifth is the manual. This is our intuitive understanding. When purchasing a brand new device, what's included? So let's move on. The core device can now be seen. It's a diagnostic computer. First use requires configuration, associated VCI, and network connection, and servers connected to the Xentry update service. Let's move on to the next step. If a normal device is connected, there is no start key. Start key needs to be purchased. Or use an offline registration plan. I'm using start key now. Has been activated. If not, provide this hardware ID and app ID. Buy start key on the official Mercedes-Benz website. The authorization time is basically about 36 months. I have now done offline authorization, so it works fine. So this must be authorized before we can open the next diagnostic software. Without authorization, the diagnostic software cannot be opened. Okay, this is the first picture. Xentry VCI, and connect to the diagnostic computer via USB. This is the wired connection method to associate with the diagnostic VCI. If you bind successfully, this pop-up box will appear. This operation will delete the previously bound Xentry diagnosis VCI. If you have not connected other devices before, just click OK directly. If you have connected other devices and want to continue using it, then don't click OK, because after binding, your previous VCI record will be deleted. If you click Delete, the previous VCI can't use Wi-Fi to connect to your computer. Only wired array association binding can be performed. It can be used normally. So, only when configured in the first step, after associating with a wired connection, Xentry diagnosis VCI, only later can you connect to the computer using Wi-Fi. Now click Next. This checkmark represents our computer and the Xentry update service has completed the connection confirmation. Xentry update service and retail data storage RDs. Even when you're not programming, RDs is also constantly catching the latest programming data across the internet in sync. If without RDs, then you need to wait to download the latest data while programming. So the difference between the two is, programming hours vary. This time difference is mainly reflected in the upgrade of multimedia hosts. Other software upgrades, not much difference, because other software upgrade files are smaller, but the multimedia host upgrade file is about 1020 G. Now click Continue. This is the latest upgrade configuration interface used after 214. It is used for control unit programming. USB to LAN control network adapter. Programming with this configuration took about 46 minutes compared to 1 hour and 20 minutes using the original programming method. But it can only be used when programming the control unit. USB to LAN adapter. Transfer control unit data to vehicle. The first compatible control unit is the main unit of the 214 model. Requires RDs. Ethernet cable output through the network interface of RDs. Connect to the adapter for network interface to Type-C. Then connect to the Type-C interface of the vehicle. Then use the diagnostic instrument Xentry VCI to activate. Select the USB to LAN adapter upgrade to use this interface. So if you don't have an RDs, you don't need to use this interface. Just click Continue. This page is an overview of the system configuration. This button is to view the connection status of the backend server. It is currently connected normally. If one of the states is cross, will affect the upgrade of Xentry Flash. An error may occur. Can't connect to the background and other information. So, make sure all ports are connected properly. When the status is abnormal, you can open the corresponding website to check. The green this page indicates whether the status is normal, whether the start key is normal and within its validity period. If it has expired, can't open the software. It is a necessary condition for opening the diagnostic software. Only with authorization can it be opened. Here is the configuration information of Xentry Update Service. If you don't have RDs, configure intranet services. If you have RDs, you can directly configure the address information of RDs. Here is the association information for Xentry Diagnosis VCI. If everything is normal, you can click to exit, or choose to export the current configuration information. Export is to export the current configuration information after a software update or computer reset. You can directly import already configured files. No need to reconfigure. Show you the home page import file. Select File. Loading. Import successful. The pop-up window can see that the configuration information status is normal. Then you can just quit. That's the first step in getting your hands on the diagnostic device. Basic configuration of diagnostic instrument. Then we say the next VCI manager. Open the software. Here, the green padding indicates that Xentry VCI has been matched to the diagnostic device. At this time, if VCI is turned on, this will become connected. This location is the associated icon. If you just configured the interface in the previous step, if didn't associate it, it can be associated through this location. And update. If the diagnostic instrument is updated, Xentry VCI also needs to be updated. Just update it on this interface. If it needs to be updated, it will pop up a prompt here, tell you that the Xentry VCI needs to be updated. If it doesn't pop up, it doesn't need to be processed. The recovery button is at the bottom of the Xentry VCI. There is a restore button here. Under what circumstances is it mainly used? Such as update failure, you need to click restore, or the diagnostic software downgraded. When downgrading to a lower version, Xentry VCI will report version mismatch. We need to restore it first, and then make the connection. Because Xentry does not have a downgrade button, we can only restore it. Next is the Wi-Fi channel setting. For example, when there is a large source of signal interference, You can switch the configuration of the WLAN to switch channels. Here it is, the process of configuring the VCI diagnostic head. See you in the next class.